What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Lioness Lair. It is Victory Sunday. It's the Queen of the Prowl here with, of course, my beautiful cohort and co-host, Lady Lionor. We might get in a little bit of trouble for this, but hey, you know what? Since it's a Victory Sunday and 3 in a row, here we go. Let's just do this. Roar! Oh, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. We got a lot to talk about with this game, man. This was a surprise, to be honest. It really was. So, Lady Lionor, what were some of your insights into this?
I mean, so much happened. This game was really death by 1,000 paper cuts. We played complementary football. We did what we needed to do when we needed to do it. We didn't make mistakes, and they did. They made mistakes. They weren't converting. They couldn't run it when they needed to. They weren't great in the passing game. This was actually, even though they weren't great in the passing game, this was one of their better passing games. That was one of the keys to the game, right? You had to win in the trenches. You had to try and defend the middle, which we didn't do a great job of. But you also had to make Jones a passer because he is a very mobile quarterback. They typically design runs for him. I don't know what this scheme was today. It looked like I only counted 3 designed runs today. As bad as we are at stopping mobile quarterbacks, I don't know why they didn't lean into it. In the fourth quarter, they finally remembered that Daniel Jones could run, and they ran it a little bit, and it was successful, but then they didn't stick with it. So I'm not really sure what they were doing, but hey, it benefits us. So 3 in a row, baby. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, well, what shocked me is how easy they made this look. Usually in a Lions game, it's the cardiac cats finish. So this one was for it to beat a 7-2 team like this with the way that they are right now was very impressive. So hey, what's up, Michael Huck and Seika and John Robinson? Welcome to our Lioness Lair. So yeah, what was I thought one of the things that I thought was funny was right off the bat when the Giants had the ball, you could hear "Go North, Batman! Go North, Batman! Go North, Batman!" I'm like, what kind of play is this?
Yeah, they had a couple of interesting play calls, but it was crazy. We were really in control. It felt like we were in control this entire game. I mean, like you say, the Packers and Bears games, those both could have gone either way. Those games, it felt like both teams were trying to lose it, and the other team just succeeded in losing it more than we did. This felt like a win. And a win against a 7-2 team. And I don't want to take anything away from it because they haven't really looked like a 7-2 team, but hey, that's their record, and we beat a seven
Yeah.
and two team.
Well, the Giants can be a difficult team to try to beat, and speaking with the Bears, they give the Bears a hard time a lot. And I noticed they do like to cheat quite a bit, in holding and all of those things, which I didn't see in this game that much.
I mean,
So
this is a different Giants team. This,
yeah,
Shane and Dable regime. Dable's an excellent coach. They're scheming different. Yeah, this is a pretty solid Giants team. I'm still surprised they came in 7-2. It was a winnable game for sure, and we did everything that we needed to do to win. And they didn't. It was as simple as that. It was execution and scheme, and we were the better team on the field today.
so let's get into some of the things that we saw on the offense side of the ball. Um, Goff actually played a great game this game, and this is what I'm trying to say with him is don't do the deep pass with Goff. You see him mess up almost once, really bad there, towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
But it was almost like a Dan Campbell trying to tank move in some ways, But it's like, don't do that stuff. Just stick with the run game. That's what you're good at. Don't mess don't mess with what your strengths are. So Goff actually played a really good game. There was a few times that we saw him run and escape the quarterback blitzes and do some things. So for all of you guys who want to get rid of Goff so fast, well,
Yeah, and I don't remember the exact play. I think it was third down and long. And I think Goff scrambled for 20 yards. It was a huge run. It's something we don't normally see out of Goff. Now it got called back because of a Penei Sewell penalty.
no, it
But yeah.
was actually the Taylor Decker penalty.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we saw Goff use his legs today. You know, he was exactly what you always say he is. He was a manager. That's what he did. He was 7 for
Mhm.
26 for 165 yards. Didn't throw any touchdowns. That's okay. Didn't need him to. I
And
mean,
there
he
were
did what we
zero
needed him to do.
turnovers. And there were zero turnovers in
Yep.
this game, where the Giants, I believe, had one or no, three.
Three. We
Or
had
three.
2 interceptions and a fumble recovery. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, for all of you golf haters, you might want to be changing your tune and drinking some, joining the cult of golf.
Yeah,
Um,
so let's talk about this running back core real quick because we've sort of seen this trend where we know Swift isn't 100% and Jamal keeps getting the majority of the carries. He has become the clear RB1 for us over the past few weeks. And shout out to him, by the way. He has 12 touchdowns on the year after his 3 today. This is his first game with 3 touchdowns, and he is now number 1 in rushing touchdowns in the league with his 12.
what's some more
So
interesting
good for him.
stats with Jamal today? He has beaten Barry Sanders' records for 2+ rushing touchdowns in consecutive games, and it was also the most first to rush in a single game.
Anytime you're topping Barry Sanders, you're doing something right. That's
So
incredible.
when you're talking about a guy who's beaten Barry Sanders' records,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, so we have him and he is a workhorse, man. He's amazing. But DeAndre Swift is supposed to be our RB1. He's obviously still banged up because he's still on a pitch count. He's clearly frustrated with his production and his usage right now. And you know what? He did. He had one of his sort of signature breakout plays, but that was really it. You know, Swift was interesting. He only had 5 carries, 20 yards. So that's 4 yards a carry, which sounds okay, except that one of his carries was for 16 yards. So on all of his other touches, he averaged 1 yard per touch.
yeah, he
But
was
he got that big
stopped.
16-yard chunk.
Yeah,
So
he was stopped significantly, and he did get 1 touchdown.
he did get the goal line touchdown. Yep.
So
And
at
then,
least
man,
there's
Justin
that.
Jackson making a case for himself. Justin Jackson was our top rusher. I mean, I know Williams got all the touchdowns, but Jackson had 9 carries for 66 yards, one for 27 yards today. He broke one off. Justin Jackson is really, really pulling his weight right now. It's great because Craig Reynolds is on IR, and I don't know if DeAndre Swift is just still not himself or if this is going to be an ongoing issue with him, because if it is, some serious questions need to be asked about his future.
He can't go on and start whining and complaining about the way he's being used and come out here and looking like he is. Okay? So, you got to make a case for that. You can't just be
Yeah.
sitting here just bitching and whining and going, oh, they're not using me right. And you come out looking like shit.
Well, I noticed too, when we all watched Hard Knocks, we saw Deuce Staley getting on him about stop going to the outside, run up the middle, be patient, find the hole, run up the middle. And just multiple times today, I just didn't see it. He was stuffed at the line, and then on 2 occasions, he tried to go around to the outside, and he was dropped behind the line of scrimmage. His touchdown run was right up. I mean, he wasn't on the sideline. And I don't know what it's going to take for him to finally do that. His toughness has even been questioned. If he is still really injured, he's got the shoulder, and is it an ankle or a knee? I know it's lower extremity. but maybe he is a little bit afraid of being hit hard.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
if he wants to make a case to be on the team past this year, he's got to do something quickly.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be Swifty. Come on now, you're not Swifty at all. Okay.
Well, I think it's somebody, Jeff Risdon, or maybe someone over at Pride of Detroit always says the best ability is availability. And man,
Absolutely.
Jamal, he has been here all season long when we've needed him. DeAndre Swift just, he's not reliable, man. I mean, he's either not in or he's not 100%. He's just not giving us what you need out of an RB1.
Yeah. Yeah, Micro Mike. Yeah, it was 12 touchdowns for Jamal Williams and breaking Barry Sanders records. If you didn't hear me, go back and listen to that because, he did break a couple of records this game for against Barry Sanders record. So, yeah, that was a lot. So there was a lot of good things that I saw from the offense today. Now talking about the defense,
Well,
there
hold
was
on.
a lot to talk about.
Can I say one more thing about the offense?
Yeah.
Just because those middle two quarters have always been a bit of a problem for us, especially the third quarter. And it wasn't perfect. But today, the two drives going into the half and then coming out of the half, we scored Jamal goal line touchdowns on 3 straight drives to make it 24-6 early in the third quarter. We had 17 first downs on 38 snaps over that period. That is a model of efficiency. I mean, that is exactly what you want this team to do. Goff is not going to play hero ball. You don't want him to. He's not accurate deep. You don't want him to make stupid mistakes. They did exactly what they needed to do. Jared Goff managed this beautifully. It was very, like, the stat sheet isn't particularly impressive except for Jamal's touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it was impressive to watch. They
Yeah.
looked like a professional football team. Like, I
This
make
is
fun of them every week because
mhm.
Georgia could probably come out and beat them. And they looked like a good NFL team today.
Yeah, this was the first game that you didn't see the Lions take a nap in the third quarter.
Yeah.
There you actually saw some passion, some drive that looked like they were identity, that they were gelling together, that they were, that they actually had the desire to do that. Now they need to show up and do that again on Thanksgiving against the Bills because historically they don't really show up well on Thanksgiving games.
And it's the Bills, but the Bills right now aren't quite as invincible as I would have said they are a few weeks ago. We've seen some chinks in their armor. They're on a slight decline, and certainly the Lions are going up right now. So
Well,
yeah,
I'm
it'll be
not happy.
interesting.
I'm
Hmm?
not happy with the Bills because they done brought all their snow up in Michigan. What is wrong with them?
I know, didn't they play in Ford Field today?
Yeah, they played in Ford Field today because they couldn't
Yeah.
play in their own field. So yeah, that was freaking hilarious.
It was
But
50 degrees here today. I had to wear a jacket. I was so cold. I was bitching about it all
oh,
day.
50 degrees. Well. Don't talk to me about.
Oh no, I didn't say 50. It was in the 50s. 50's a little low.
Yeah, I don't want to hear nothing about no that it's like below around
Yeah,
here.
look,
Okay.
I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt for the first time all year.
I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt, but I'm in heat right now. Or not, I'm in heat. That's the wrong
You're in
word.
heat. Good to know. All right.
Blame this on Dan Spanos for messing me up on Free for All Friday, but and it's just been going since then. So, but yeah, so I gotta say one thing. We're gonna go into the defense a little bit, but I gotta talk about the Giant. Somebody on the Giants, real quick. Kenny Galladay.
I know every time there was a Kenny Galladay sighting, twice, I actually marked it in my notes that Galladay got receptions today.
Yeah, Galladay kind of embarrassed the Lions at a couple of points. I mean, there was one play where he burnt the hell out of 4 guys. Um, and he had a big catch later on in the game, and kind of burnt the secondary a little bit again. So you can't have Kenny Galladay making you look bad. Okay, the secondary still needs some work because I saw a
Yeah,
lot of things. I saw a lot of getting burnt on the secondary in this
yeah,
game.
they're actually on my list as far as like good, bad, and ugly. They were my bad today. And listen, they weren't horrible. They did some good things, right? I mean, you had the Kirby interception, really, really great coverage. A lot of the pressure that the line was getting was just because Daniel Jones had nowhere to go with it and he was dancing around back there and they had time to get back and pressure him. So they did some good things. But 17 of the Giants' 25 first downs came on passes. The Giants coming into this game average 161 passing yards per game. Today, we allowed 324. And listen, we came in saying that we need to stop Saquon Barkley. Don't let Daniel Jones run. He didn't even try and run. We shut down Saquon. So we
Yeah,
forced Daniel Jones to throw, and yet we're still a young secondary. They're still not great. Akuda took some friendly fire today, and now he's going to be in concussion protocol. He's not even going to be in the Thanksgiving Day game. Or Warrior had to come in later in the game. Jerry Jacobs got injured. I mean, it's not ideal.
yeah, and Hutch took some friendly fire too.
Yeah, that pissed me off. That was about the only thing I saw Austin Bryant do all day. He was pretty much worthless, and then he hit Hutch, and Hutch has to walk off the
Of
field.
all people to hit Austin Bryan, you had to hit Hutch. Of all people,
That was his hardest hit of the day, was against his teammate. Yep.
it's like, come on, and that's the blind ballerinas of the backfield thing going on again for me. Yeah. So I watched Akuda get burnt multiple times. You had there was Jerry Jacobs got burnt a few times. Um, yeah. Let's see. We got Evan Brown that got injured. I mean, Khalif Raymond actually got, beat up on the offense here for a minute, and then he had
Yeah, didn't Derek Barnes go down too?
Barnes
Didn't
went
Barnes go
down.
down
Yeah,
early in the
Barnes
game?
went down. No, a
Yeah.
little bit later in the game.
But
Barnes,
overall, the defense had a very decent showing. So Elliott and Will Harris both had 8 tackles each. You had Aleem with the day of his career. He's quietly had a very good season even up to this point. But today he had some splash plays and the announcers were talking about it. Now the world knows Aleem McNeil is on the rise. Dude
that's
had
what I warned everybody. I call him mini fridge because I said
he's great.
he is exactly like Refrigerator Perry from a long time ago with the Bears.
Yeah,
And that's
I
why I call
remember.
him mini fridge. He's built the same size. He's got the same kind of skill set. And let's look at his stats in this game. He had 4 tackles, a sack, 3 tackles for loss, and they were all on Barkley.
They were all in Saquon. That's right. 75% of his tackles were TFLs, and they were all on Barkley. He shut him down today.
And he had 7 quarterback pressures.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
great in the run and against the pass. He had a really good day, and he wasn't the only one. That whole line. I mean, Aleem and Bugs on the inside. Hutch and Kaminsky on the outside. That's a solid unit. Very, very young, but you can almost see it finally starting to click with them. And they're playing better and better every week.
Jerry Jacobs stats. He had 6 tackles and a pass breakup. So, yeah, you're looking. I mean, and this was Ali McNeil's sack was the first sack of the entire year. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
there,
Kamish had a sack. He had 2 tackles for loss. Kirby had an interception. Listen, the defense did some stuff today. They had
one
a
of
decent
the
day.
one of the most interesting things I saw on the defense today, which I was kind of worried about, but I was hoping that they would bring it in, and they were doing a lot of quarterback blitzes, which was a good thing, which is what I wanted them to do. Because I said, don't do this against the Bears game, but do this with the Giants game. And who would have thunk in 3 blitzes in a row that it would be the key players on them would be a Warrior and Anzalone.
Yeah.
Goff was escaped his zone by himself on that third one, but you know what I'm saying. But it's still like, who would have thought that that these were like, this was crazy. For a Warrior's been stinking, so he actually did something. That's amazing.
It's crazy. I didn't even notice them. When I go back and review it and look at the replay, I'll pay closer attention. I didn't remember seeing or worry very much. So I'm glad he came in and did something, some pass rush.
And Anzalone had a few moments where he was actually. I mean, he got get burnt here a little bit here and there, but that he also was just going beast mode on a few plays as well. So hey, if
Yeah. It's so strange because I did not come into the season high on Anzalone at all. This was one of his worst games, and he was still solid. I mean, all of our linebackers struggled a little bit today. Rodrigo had some. Nobody really had issues. Nobody made any splashy plays, but everybody was okay. And yeah, man, Anzalone's athleticism is on display every single week. Watching him just run people down.
Hey, we got our Minnesota Vikings friend Jade in the chat with us, and
What's up, Jade?
Congratulations on the win today. Oh, sorry for what happened to you all today, Vikings fans.
Jade, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
I don't know what was in your stars, but I think your team is seeing stars right now.
40-3. We are the only team in the NFC North that won today, and the Rams lost again. So we don't need to tank for a quarterback. The Rams are going to do it for us.
Yeah, and that's been a discussion that I really don't want to get into because oh my gosh, they were the quarterback talk is crazy right now. But but it's just this was actually a good game all the way around. And who'd have thought that the Lions would be the only ones to win this week?
Yeah.
That's saying something. They are in the contention for a wild card spot. They just now clinched the second spot in the NFC North.
Yeah, I mean the Vikings are still going to take it without a doubt, but yeah, we are second in the division right now. So my good for the game, and I'm pretty sure it's the exact same as it was last week, and it's the rookies and young guys again. I mean, Hutch, 3 tackles, but the stat sheet really, really didn't tell the whole story at all. He had the interception, the fumble recovery. He was the one who fell on the fumble. Most defensive ends don't have any interceptions on their stat sheets. Most DEs don't drop into coverage. This is the second week. He did it against the Packers, too. I mean, he was great against the pass. He was great against the run. He got pressure on the Giants' O-line all game long. He was a major reason that Jones had to either try and scramble or throw it away. He and the rest of the line was really good, too. But how is Hutch not Defensive Player of the Year at this point right now?
Oh, he probably will be.
Yeah,
they just haven't named any. I don't think they just haven't named anybody yet, but he is a very strong contender for it. And what's interesting is this is going to become interesting, especially when you were talking about the Rams, because now Stafford is in concussion protocol for the second week in a row. So what this means for the Rams moving forward can only probably benefit the Lions when it comes to draft time.
Yeah, I think they were screwed either way because Cooper Kupp's out for the season. I mean, that was kind of his go-to guy. So yeah, the Rams, it doesn't look like it's going to get any better over there. Right, if the draft were right now, they have the number 5 pick and we have the number 13. I'll draft 5th and 13th. That's good for us.
The one thing that was driving me nuts with this game though was the penalties, because they were all dumb penalties. Just all of them just dumb. Taylor Decker blowing Goff's run. And then on Twitter, he's going and saying, hey, let's roll on this one pride. Dude, you've been messing up every single game. What are you talking about?
Okay, help me out here. What was the Taylor Decker penalty?
He got caught for holding when
Well, I have
Goff.
a holding on Dan Skipper. I have a personal foul on Jonah Jackson. I have a block in the back on Penei Sewell. I have a delay of game. That's on Goff. And then I have a holding on the defense. That's all I've got. I don't have anything
On the big run by Goff. Decker had a holding penalty, which blew the run.
Okay.
So, yeah, you had Sewell block in the back.
He tapped him. So many of these penalties today were so ticky-tacky. Now,
no, that one
token,
wasn't a ticky-tack. That he did actually push.
He did not. It was one hand, and he barely tapped
No,
him.
I saw both hands. I looked at it. I looked at the review.
No.
It was both hands.
I think even on the broadcast they talked about how it wasn't quite a block, but that wasn't the other.
They thought that at first until the replay hit, and when you saw the replay, you did see him put both hands there.
Well, they also then missed a whole bunch of penalties. I just think this officiating crew was particularly bad. I just don't think they were.
Sewell did get away with one though.
He got away with a couple.
Yeah, he got away with moving on the line and not getting caught for it. You had
a lot of penalties on them.
Holding on Harris. There was a holding up with Harris. Let's see. Illegal formation penalty.
Because we only had 5 penalties on the day. They had
more than that.
We had 5.
There was more than that, I think.
I mean, the official.
I was writing them down as they were happening, but I think a couple of them got declined.
The only one that was declined was the illegal formation on the Giants' offense. That one was declined. Yeah, the Giants had 8 penalties on the day. We had 2 first downs today because of their penalties. I mean, normally it's the other way around. They had 63 yards in penalties today. This was not a clean game for the Giants. Now, again, I think some of the calls against them were ticky-tacky too.
Yeah, there was a lot of ticky-tack stuff going on. But you expect that with every single kind of NFL game. It is what it is. It almost looked there at times that, the refs were trying to, with the clock and stuff, trying to mess with the game a little bit. There were moments, where delay of game penalties should have been called and weren't.
The Goff got away with one big time. I mean, it was like a full 2.5 seconds after the clock ran down to 0. I couldn't believe they didn't call it on him. Maybe they were getting us back for the horrible non-call last year against the Ravens.
I don't know.
Gifting us one.
I don't know, but I mean, there are still some things to clean up. But this team is actually looking like what I've been saying all along. Everybody wanted to give Goff such a hard time with it. But when you have $37 million worth of guys sitting on the bench, what do you want Goff to do? Seriously. You start to see Amon St. Brown come back. You see Swift coming back. You see these guys, they're becoming healthy. Shark still has a lot to prove for me, but yet. Baby Shark, dance panel. Okay. But still, Goff in his element. I know a lot of fans want to have the bright, shiny object, deep pass guy. But you can get a lot done, and I've said it from the beginning, you can get a lot done with a game manager and go, playoff bound with it. Provided the rest of your team is built in some way.
they've built this receiving core in an interesting way. For all the injuries and problems we've had, where we haven't had any big receivers on the outside, the receivers we do have, what they excel at is yards after the catch. I mean, Amon-Ra, we know he's been great at that. Raymond is excellent at getting separation and then creating yards after the catch. You know, Shark only had one ball come his way, and he didn't get it today. But they have to cover him. They can't disregard him. It opens up other areas of the field just having him out there.
Right.
So, yeah, I feel like maybe the passing game was a little more efficient today than it would have been had Shark not been there, even though he's not the one with a lot of numbers by his name. And, man, Amon-Ra, 7 for 8 for 76 yards. He had a 32-yarder. I mean, that's all running. Goff doesn't throw it that far.
Goff shouldn't be throwing it that far. Yeah, this is what I said.
He tried a couple times, and it was almost comically bad.
Yeah. Yes, because he's not a deep passer. I said, go in there. If you're going to do that, dink and dunk and intermediate passes only, especially with the New York City wind. Come on now, or the New York wind.
Yeah, it was windy today.
You know?
Yeah, and I want to talk about that, but also Kennedy again. He only had one pass go his way. He caught it for 13 yards. It was a third down conversion. It was really, really big one. We also had Brock Wright. He had 2 receptions today. I think he had like 20 yards. Listen, with Hawk gone, seeing production out of the tight ends is important. Brock Wright's really shown up. He's a good blocker. He's been good. But back to the Wind and their kicking game. I can't believe how we lucked out with Michael Badgley. The Bears dropped him. He was fine for you guys too. You picked him up. He didn't miss. And then you dropped him. We picked him up, and he has been perfect since he's been with us.
Yeah. Bears outside of a couple of guys, you know, double doink and all of that. Bears typically can be okay with their selections with kicker. Bears did not need Badgley simply because of Carlos Santos. So they already had their franchise kicker that it is what it is. This guy was not going to get any playing time with the Bears whatsoever. So the Lions picked him up. I said, you know, if you're getting a kicker from the Bears, man, you know, I don't know. But Badgley had, I mean, because when you watch the Giants try to kick and dinking the crap out of it, and Badgley's coming in there at the same angles, the same yardage pretty much, and just nailing it right down the middle. That says a lot.
Well, yeah, Graham Gano missed the first 2 extra points, and then they went for 2, and they may have gone for 2 anyway, but I kind of got the impression that it really had just as much to do with the fact that they did not have any faith in their kicker.
Yeah, it was weird because it's like, why would you go for 2? There's no way at this point in the game that you're going to catch up whatsoever.
No, but it gives you, you know, it brings you within 11 points, and so then that's a touchdown with a 2-point conversion plus a field goal. Whereas if you don't do it, you're at 12 points, which is what we were at, and it's completely out of reach. So
it was, to me, it was stupid anyway. They were going to be 20 points max. They were 18 at that point. There's no reason to do it, and so it did show simply off of the kicker's performance in this game that they didn't have any more faith in the kicker for that game.
I mean, Graham Gano he's been around a while. He's a good kicker. I'm not going to blame the wind because Badgley kicked going both directions. So you can't blame which side of the field they were on. Yeah, Badgley was able to, you know, have it not affect him nearly as much as Gano was. I think overall Gano is a pretty good kicker. He just had an off day.
Yeah.
It happens. Remember when Mason Crosby came into Ford Field and missed like 4 field goals in a game? Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, anytime Crosby messes up, it's a good day. And so we get to celebrate this week. Not it's FTP and FTG week. So
Yep. Yep.
we're having a good time with that. So in looking at this, I have to ask a question, and I want to see what your response is to this. Do you think that getting rid of AG had any real effect on this defense?
Aubrey Pleasant.
Yeah. Oh, AP. Yeah, AP, not
Yeah.
AG. I'm sorry.
I mean, it seems like it. And I think there
Ever
are a
since they
couple.
let him go,
Yeah, they've
right?
played better. I think there are a couple things to that. One, we got some indication that maybe Pleasant wasn't 100% on board, that he was not communicating to his guys what Campbell wanted him to. So they may have been button heads just a little bit. Right after he was fired, and also Hawk was traded that same week, they apparently had a big players meeting where they had them all get together and just hash out however they were feeling, all their frustrations, all their everything, clear the air, and really come together and connect again. And by all accounts, the players say that was a really, really good thing. There was also sort of a mindset among some of the guys. I know it was, particularly like Jerry Jacobs and Chase Lucas and some of the guys that were really, really close to Aubrey Pleasant, where they really felt like they let him down. And they wanted to come out and sort of play their hearts out. But yeah, I think what Duker has now taken over. Hi.
he
Yeah,
wants.
he seems to be on the same page as Campbell. Or Aaron Glenn, whoever it is that's, you know.
Yeah,
So
Kitty
yeah,
wanted their turn
I
to
think
talk.
that does have something to do with it.
Looks like Kitty wanted to share his story, but but yeah, I think it had a significant difference because if you were looking at how this team was looking on the field, there was a lot of evidence that some of that locker room might have given up on Dan Campbell.
I think there was clearly some frustration. And he
There
just
was,
kept saying, do this thing. You are close. We will eventually punch it past the finish line, and this will eventually work out. And yeah, going 1-6 will do that to you. You'll lose faith. Winning 3 in a row is certainly going a long way to boost confidence, not just in the team and themselves and their own play, but in Dan Campbell, because this is the Dan Campbell way. You just keep at it and keep at it and keep at it and chip away, and eventually you get there. And that's exactly what happened.
but that it was interesting to note that if you when you were watching their play on the field, there was no energy in, in this season so far. The minute AP is out the door, the energy level changed on the field. Now they hadn't quite had all their injured players back, but the energy started to change. And I can even see this in a Warrior, where a
Yeah, and again,
Warrior,
I didn't pay attention to Oruwari today. I'll pay special attention to him when I go back and rewatch. But I read that as communication. I felt like all season long, they just weren't on the same page, even with each other. I felt like the communication was poor. And I attributed a lot of that to Tracy Walker going out because he was such a leader on that defense. I kind of thought maybe he was the guy keeping them all together. And once he went out, there wasn't anyone to really step up. They really seem to be on the same page now.
yeah. I mean, you see Kirby Joseph making great plays, but is he a leader in the locker room? I don't know. Is Deshaun Elliott a leader here? In the
Deshaun
safety?
Elliott's new, I think Anzalone, but then in the secondary, specifically Jeff Okuda, but he's only been there 3 years and he's only played in one of them. This is essentially his rookie
Yeah,
year.
there are no leaders, but really, to
Mm-hmm.
be honest, on the
There are no
defensive side as
veterans.
well.
They're all so young.
You know, you would think Taylor Decker would be a leader, but he seems to be going down the toilet, in my opinion. But
Well, he's not in the defensive back room. So I mean,
yeah,
defensive backs specifically, yeah, Akuda, Elliott, Walker. I mean, I think we got them all.
yeah,
they're the oldest guys in that unit.
Yeah, I'm looking at the entire defensive side of the ball going, there's not really a standout quite leader yet.
I mean, Michael Brockers was almost brought back specifically to be that guy because he's a little bit older. He's been around for a long time, but now he's been a healthy scratch. I think Michael Brockers was a team captain, but he's not even on the field anymore.
Yeah. So that's something that they're going to have to address moving forward because, you know, you know, like I said at the beginning of the season, it didn't look like it, but I said they could easily go, you know, 10-7 if the team is healthy enough. They should be able to go that. Will they do it with the rest of the schedule now the way it is? That's to be determined. I don't know.
Yeah, I was never quite that optimistic, but man, I'm getting more optimistic by the day. I gotta say, even looking ahead at the schedule, I don't see any unwinnable games. The Bills are no longer invincible. The next time we play the Bears, we play them at our house. Playing the
Mhm.
Packers on the road is going to be tough. We have to play Packers and Vikings on the road, but we've got the Jaguars. I don't have it in front of me, but we have the Jaguars, the Jets, the Panthers. Those are all very winnable games.
And you
So
know
we'll see.
what? With the Lions game being my first ever live NFL game, to have to sit there and go, and if they lose to the Lions and have to be in Ford Field, I'm gonna be crying. y'all gonna see me on the camera just going, boo. Oh, that's not gonna be. That's going to be an interesting game, you know. So, if you are, you know, Prowl Nation, if you are at that game, you better come see me. I'm gonna be in section 139, so come find me. Come say hi. I want to see you. So, as we're wrapping up this game, or I'm wrapping up the show a little bit.
Oh my gosh, can we complain about Cabinda and how
Oh
someone
yeah.
needs
Oh yes, I was going to complain about Cabinda. Thank you
how
for
someone
reminding
needs
me.
to save up and get him a jugs machine to take home with him so that he can just catch passes over and over and over? Because the only two balls that went his way today, he dropped them, and they were bad. I mean, they were right to him. There was
I
no
know,
excuse.
right?
No excuse.
That was so bad. So
If
let's
we had
go.
lost, that would be a big deal, and we'd be complaining to the high heavens about it. But we won, so who cares? It didn't
Yeah, there
matter.
was. But to be honest, I don't think Kabinda was the most obvious thing in this game to be complaining about.
Okay.
You know, there were a lot of other things that you know you could complain about with the dumb penalties they were creating. You know the you know getting burnt on plays because they're still a little slow. There's things that are still yet not just one guy, but
Yeah, I mean, they're young, they're inexperienced, but this is what we hope to see this year was this young team come together in their units and start playing cohesively. We wanted to start seeing it click. That's what was so frustrating. We were an awful defense last year, and up until a couple weeks ago this year, it looked like there had been no improvement from year to year. And all we needed to see was improvement. Now all of a sudden things are clicking and we're seeing it. This is
yeah,
a much improved unit. And a lot of it has to do with the line itself. You know, we won in the trenches on both sides of the ball today. The line stepping up automatically makes the secondary better. And vice versa. If you have a great secondary and a crappy line, the fact that they're back there and they can cover people, it it helps the line. So even though the secondary is still not great, the line is seriously stepping up and it's just making the entire defense better because of it.
so let's look into Thanksgiving. What's your prediction for the game?
Okay. Well, I haven't really looked at it. I haven't looked at all the numbers yet. Normally, I have all sorts of numbers in front of me, and I go back and compare, and I will go back and watch about the last 4 Bills games sometime this week just to see what they're really looking like. I think we can hang more than the national media is going to give us credit for. I think we are a scary team for absolutely anyone in the league to play right now. I don't care if it's the Eagles or the Chiefs or the Bills. The Bills don't look so invincible anymore. And we're at home and we've got momentum and confidence on our side. I think we give them a game. I think it'll be higher scoring. So we'll say, I don't know, 28-35. I'm going to say 28-35, and I'm still going to say the Bills because, listen, I swore I would stop picking the Lions. I picked them so often, weeks 1 through 5, and I was wrong every time except for one. And I swore I wasn't going to pick them anymore. So I've picked the opponent, and I've been wrong the past 3 weeks in a row. But just for my own disappointment level, I'm picking the Bills.
Your own disappointment.
That way, if we lose, it'll be expected and not a disappointment. I'm going to go 35-28 Bills. What you got?
I am thinking that since the Lions are getting a little healthier and that they are in a little bit of confidence, but they are at home and it is Thanksgiving Day. So I'm going to think that this is going to be a very close game within 3.
Okay.
So I'll say we'll do 28-24 Lions.
Okay. I am more concerned about Josh Allen in this game. I mentioned it at the top of the show. The way they used Daniel Jones today shocked me. He is a running quarterback. They design runs for him. He is a built-in part of their run game, and we struggle with that so much. I know we beat the Bears last week. We didn't contain Justin Fields. He ran for like 100 and almost 150 yards last week. And the fact that they didn't use Daniel Jones today surprised me. They will use Josh Allen. And we still have not figured out how to contain mobile quarterbacks. And of all the mobile quarterbacks we've seen, Josh Allen is the most accurate passer. They are the best team overall. On paper, this is probably the most talented team in the league. And I think we're going to struggle because they will design runs for him. So, we still haven't shown that we can contain a mobile quarterback.
You can contain a mobile quarterback if you can get Hutch and Rodrigo on a tag team type of basis. Where you have,
I'm hoping Pascal is back too. Because Hutch and Rodrigo are actually the two that come to mind when I think about trying to contain a guy that might take off running. Mm-hmm. And I think having Pascal opposite Hutch takes a little pressure off Hutch. You know,
because you don't want Hutch to be overblowing it. Yeah, you don't want Hutch to be overblowing it. So you're going to need to have Hutch help. But if you have Hutch on here and Rodrigo over here, you can pretty much contain a mobile quarterback. And that's what I said to do against the Bears. They kind of did it in a lot of ways in that game. If they can perfect this, if they can get this going where that strategy is further developed, they can stop a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, I wonder, because I think they're scheming well for it. I just don't know that they're executing, and I think that's a personnel issue. I just think it's young, inexperienced guys that need to develop the discipline.
They just need to gel.
I won't be disappointed if they struggle this week. You know.
Yeah, they just need to gel yet. They still haven't gelled. They have not come together and had enough time working together in the environment like that. And Thanksgiving Day is kind of a rough one.
It is. I will say though, I was so impressed with the run D today because we came in, and I'm trying to think. I think in defensive EPA, I think we were 26. We were 24th against the pass and 28th against the run. 28th against the run. That's not good. And the Giants came in with one of the best running offenses in the league. Saquon Barkley is probably the number 1 running back in the league coming into this game. We held that dude to 22 yards. They talked all week about wanting to shut down Saquon Barkley. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, wishful thinking. They actually did it. I was so impressed that it just shows such an improvement. I mean, it shows that they're not there yet, but they are starting to gel. They are starting to figure out how to do some of these things.
Yep.
I'm excited to see what they do against the Bills next week. I want to see how they handle a real elite team.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's going to be interesting. Your buddy Stephen Forrest says that the Lions' future is so bright. You're going to need shade, ladies.
Oh,
So,
Steve, heck of a Patriots ending today. A punt return for a touchdown. From what I understand, that's the first time that's happened in the NFL this year. And yeah, congrats on the win over division rival Jets today. And thank you, Jets defense, for getting me 11 points in fantasy because I picked them up this week. I'm having a great football week. Like, I
yeah.
picked up the Jets. They did good. I picked all of my picks. I think I'm only wrong on 2 games. Every team in the NFC North lost. The Rams lost, and the Lions won. It has been a perfect football weekend for me.
Well, at least it's good for you. Not so much for me, but still,
Well, also,
it
the
is.
broadcast on TV was such a Giants love fest.
Yeah, it was.
They so obviously thought all the way into the third quarter that even though the Lions were up, the Giants were going to just turn it on and come back and win that game. And then you could almost feel the shift in the fourth quarter when they realized the Lions are going to win. And then they started talking up the Lions and talking about playoff potential. And, they started going off. But for 3 quarters of that game, yeah, they were
Well, it was a
sucking off the
beautiful
Giants in those
sound to
quarters.
hear so many Giants fans booing their own team.
There was a Lions chant going. There was a Let's Go Lions chant going. And I was looking around the stadium wondering if it was Lions fans. It might have been pissed off Giants fans. I'm not sure. But
I
there was a
don't know.
very loud Lions chant going on.
Yeah, the boo flags were coming out. That was so funny. It was great. Michael Luck is predicting
45-28. It could happen.
Well, he's saying he's not
It could
changing
happen.
his strategy. So if he roots against the Lions,
Right.
yeah. So that works. And then Zeka,
Yeah.
if I mess that up, I apologize. But if there's any weakness for the Bills, it's the run game outside of Josh Allen. They go pass heavy a lot with Josh, yes they do. And yeah, he's something to contend with. So
yeah, the Bills' run game is great because of Josh Allen. He is a great runner.
Yeah. Let's have it be FTB this week. Thing for Thanksgiving,
I gotta tell you, for Halloween this year, I wanted to dress up as a fan of a good team, and I walked around just wearing a Bills hat all day. That was my Halloween costume.
You know what would be hilarious for Lions fans when they're tailgating to be putting some turkey meat in the deep some buffalo meat in the deep fryer.
They should.
Instead of turkey.
that sounds like the thing to do.
If y'all do that, if y'all have that idea, I need pics. Okay, so send me pics. Because that's just hilarious. So we got to get into it.
What are we getting into?
Our ball out, ball on players.
Right. I struggled with this. You want to go first?
So the ball out player of the game. You can go offense and defense if you want to.
Okay.
For me, the ball and out player of the game has to be Jamal Williams. I mean,
dude's setting records today. Yeah.
He was setting records to 3 touchdowns, which were very crucial in this. So I mean, he was just so obvious the choice in this game. Now defensively, I got to give it to my boy Aleem McNeil as a ball out. My boy did it. Now, the only thing, Aleem, I will ask of you is please, it's in some game, pull a refrigerator Perry move and make an interception and run all the way for a touchdown. Hopefully you won't need oxygen like he did, but still do it. That would be great. So,
Yeah, I kind of thought you were going to pick Aleem. So I purposely didn't because I assumed that you would. So I'm going to go with Hutch. And man, if Aleem ever gets an interception and runs it back, I will go nuts. Because it's not very often you see a big guy get up and get the interception and run it back. But that's what we've seen with Hutch now. 2 out of the last 3 games. He has 2 interceptions on the stat sheet. It really is rare. I mean, I can't emphasize how rare it is for a defensive end to be getting interceptions. You know, the interception itself was beautiful. Like, he dropped into the short flat, goes vertical to pick the pass, and then set us up in the red zone for a Jamal Williams short yardage tutty that put us up 10-6. I mean, and then he also recovered the Hodgins fumble. So, yeah, he's the guy. I'm so glad he was the pick. He's my player of the year, rookie player of the year right now. And I thought he had another great game.
So we're probably pretty much then in agreement with Jamal on the offensive side of the ball then as the ball out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the bald on player of the game. I'm gonna let you go first on this one because I don't know if you're gonna pick my guy.
Okay. I mean, I have an honorable mention, and if you don't pick him, I want to talk about him afterward. But I've got Austin Bryant. And I said it earlier in the show, but he was just a non-factor all day until he hit Hutch and made Hutch hobble out of the game. That was his hardest hit all damn year, was on our player. So Austin Bryant, I'm not a fan at the moment.
So
Who you got?
who is your honorable mention gonna be?
Swift.
Okay. So that's good. Because my choice, got to do it. Got to do it, bro. Got to do it, bro. Ball on player of the game, Kabinda.
Yeah.
You
The other thing was
just
I didn't see him a lot, but definitely once in the run game I saw him miss a block, and definitely once in pass protection I saw him miss. I'm sure he did a couple things right, but the only times I noticed him today, he was messing up.
Yeah, he did not do nothing right this game. So Kabinda, I'm sorry, you got balled on today.
Yeah.
And my honorable mention. Who was I gonna say? I forgot. Let me look real quick. There was an honorable mention. Right. I don't remember it now. It probably. Wait, no, it was somebody who was. Hold on, let me look at my notes. I forgot it. I had it in my head, and then I lost it.
How about Will Harris for being the one to take Okudah out? He took Okudah out of the game, and now he's going to miss the Thanksgiving game because of a friendly fire hit by Will Harris.
Yeah.
I know Will Harris had an okay day for Will Harris, but stop hitting your own damn teammates. Right?
Well, yeah. Okay, yeah. I can give him as an honorable mention, but I'm going to, the other ball non-player of the game, and I'm sorry, I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you every game. Sick of you. And I know a lot of Lions fans love you, but Taylor Decker, will you stop? Stop. You're holding penalties. You team to get a holding penalty on the most critical moments. Like every single game. Stop. Please stop. Just no. Keep it up and you got to go.
Last point about this game, I want to point out that all season long, Daniel Jones had only thrown 2 interceptions, and he had not thrown an interception since week 3. And we got 2 in this game. So kudos to a young secondary for, even though they're not particularly consistent, at least we're finally getting to the point where they're coming up with some splashy plays and changing the momentum of the game for us, because it's been critical.
Yeah, and this is an interesting name. Salem
Yeah,
Bad
Jack
Moon
Fox.
Rising. Let's not
Yep.
forget some booming punks. Mr. Fox is golden.
He
And
is.
Grandizer came in late. He says, hey, congrats to your Lions win. Awesome win. Was on Lions of the Roar UK play-by-play. Can we get a good old-fashioned Lions growl? Grandizer, go back to the beginning of the show, and I got a special treat for you, okay, buddy? Because we're about to end this. So, are we going to be doing a Lioness Lair at Thanksgiving or not? I say no.
That's your call. My whole family is leaving at like 4 because everyone's going to the Florida State game except me. So I'm actually available Thursday night if you want to do it. Or we could do it Friday and we could kind of, talk mostly Lions, but kind of cover Thanksgiving Day football on Friday.
We could do it. We could do it Thanksgiving after the game. I got nothing else going on. So
you want to do it Thursday night?
Yeah,
all right, let's just do it Thursday like normal.
We'll do a Thanksgiving Linus the Roar on Thanksgiving night.
Yep.
Also on free, we usually do a free for all Friday here at Detroit Lions on the Prowl. There will not be one this week. We are going to be doing a tribute to my late husband Jim Bordeaux, who started this channel. It is the 1-year anniversary of his death, and on Saturday, there will be a special video that me and our editor, Nathan, put together. A little short video, but it's a treat for you guys to show your appreciation for all the love and support you've done to continue his legacy here at Detroit Lions on the Prowl. So you have that coming up. And then tomorrow, the guys will be doing their recap of today's game. And there might be some naked bodies on the show from what I'm hearing. I mean, last week LL showed up naked. Now Coach Mike wants to join in the fun. So what will happen? We don't know. So I told Coach Mike to put the clothes back on. So
Isn't there like a nipple rule on YouTube? Like, don't you get demonetized if you show nips?
No, he didn't show nothing. He hadn't shown nothing like that. But yeah, trust me, you might want to wear some sunglasses tomorrow just in case. Anyhow, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. We're going to see you on Thanksgiving night to recap the Lions-Bills game. Until then, remember, like Kurt Steele says, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version that you can be. We'll holler at you later.
Have a great week, y'all.